changes. Washington is still pretty much asleep. So our message has to be heard loud and clear in order to bring about the changes that are necessary. What I believe has happened over the period of time as we grew to be the wealthiest country and the freest country, that we neglected to understand or concentrate and defend where wealth came from. That's hard work and savings. So what happened is the country became so wealthy that we got concentrated on the material benefits of a free society, and we became involved in the redistribution of wealth, thought it would be for endless times, and everybody can be taken care of from cradle to grave. Some people can have free food and free education and free medical care and free housing, and all of a sudden it didn't last. It undermined the wealth, destroyed the wealth, but it destroyed the productivity. So we're not the producers that we used to be. And that's why there's a climactic end coming soon. But the answer is loud and clear. We don't have to invent it. It's been around a long time. It's what made America great. All we have to do is get our confidence back, get the understanding back. And let me tell you, of these tens of thousands of people that I've talked to, and I imagine as I look out there, there's plenty here, it's these young people of this country that are demanding these changes and demanding that we defend liberty for their generation. Reason that we should welcome the opportunity, and the one thing that is such a pleasure to defend is the principle of liberty, because it incorporates people. If you become segmented and saying, well, I believe in this group of values, or this group of values, or this group of values, it would be like saying that I'm going to be president because I'm a Christian Protestant. I'm going to be president. But, and that's the only cause. Now, that's important in my personal life. But we become, if you're a strict constitutionalist, if you want to bring people together and live peaceably, where you can become what you want, whether it's your religious value, your intellectual value, or your personal values, what you want is a tolerance of other people. So people come together to defend liberty because we all enjoy liberty. Some people, because some who think that, oh no, the economic system would be a disaster. Some people will be poor and some people will be rich, and there'll be no answer, and not realizing that the more you interfere, the more poor people you get. So they will insist, they will not be tolerant of the system because they will want to change it. On the other side, on social values and social activities and some religious values, say, oh, people won't take care of themselves. They're going to do things that aren't right. So therefore, we can't tolerate that. But the whole thing is, if you accept liberty and you accept personal decisions, whether they're economic or personal or social, it doesn't mean that you endorse what people do. You endorse the principle of liberty. And that is why everybody should come together to defend that. And this is what I believe is giving us some energy in this campaign, as well as the revolutionary spirit, the modern day revolutionary spirit, which is an intellectual revolution that lasts 4, 5, 10 years. Matter of fact, it's been going on for 20 or 30 years, but it was very quiescent. It was more in the remnant stage. There were people talking about it and studying about it and knew about it. But now it's coming alive out of necessity. The young people are leading the charge and are excited about it. At the same time, those who are rather quiet about it are frustrated and were on the sidelines, and they were independent or didn't vote or dropped out. And they're coming around now, and the people are coming together. A reporter the other day said something to me I was very pleased about, because I did something very unusual. I complimented the reporter. And he said, you know what I've noticed? He says, over the many months, you go to the campuses and you get a very young crowd. But he says, recently I've noticed that there's many others from an older generation coming out. And I said, yeah, that is true, and that is good, because it has to be pervasive. It has to be pervasive. A true a true revolution isn't the base of the Republican Party. That is not a true revolution. Remember what Nixon said when he recognized that the Keynesian revolution had been successful. He said, we're all Keynesians now, which was really the peak of the Keynesian experiment. But when our revolution is successful, whether it has to do with the Federal Reserve or the foreign policy or whatever, or the defense of liberty, it has to be bipartisan. It has to bring people together. And this is what's happening today. And this is the reason right now our campaign is recognized that we do better than the other candidates when it comes to independence, as well as putting my name up against the president. So this means people are coming together. And I think this is wonderful. Also, the people will challenge us on the foreign policy. And I think one of the best things I hear, and the statistics prove this, is people think because I don't want to go to war, I don't like the military. Well, I've been in the military. I didn't want to go to war. Maybe the military wants to defend the country, not just go to war. So the statistic that we can cite now is looking at some other candidates. There are some other candidates that their top 4 donors are banks, including Goldman Sachs. But if you look at our campaign and look for the top 4, it's the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Air. So we should be optimists. We should assume responsibility for ourselves. We don't need to wait for a majority. We have the irate, tireless minority right now that are willing to work and change this and continue to build and start the brush fires of liberty. And that is what's happening. It's happening. But if you're part of this irate minority, you know what? There's more responsibility on your shoulders. Because the large majority of people never get involved. The large majority, if you look at the masses of people in the country, half of them probably don't even register and vote. But if you come around to understanding this, understanding the cause of liberty, the importance of the Constitution, the importance of a sensible foreign policy, you do carry a greater burden because you know about it and you know what's right, so you have to participate. And therefore, the best thing we can do at the moment is, long term, of course, it's you have a lot of things to do. But at this very moment, the best thing that we can do is send a loud and clear message tomorrow and tell the country that this idea of individual liberty, limited government, is the best way to achieve peace and prosperity in our time. Thank you.